everyone, it's Bec Beattie here, and today I'm going to share with you the process of creating this scrapbooking page with you, and I'm just going to take you through the different steps and the different things that I did in the background so that you can have a go at home. So I started out with some of the Kaisercraft corrugated cardstock. Really love this cardstock, it's really versatile. I love how you can colour it up, but also you can leave it in a nice natural state. And all I did was tear around the edges, and I'm also just removing a little bit of the corrugates just to give it a little bit more of a distressed feel. So you can see that I've done that around some of the edges, but not all the way around the edge. So just cleaning up a little bit of that mess now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a coat of gesso. So I'm using the Faber-Castell gesso, mainly because this is a nice sort of thin gesso, not too thick. So I really like that, and that way some of the colour of the corrugate sort of does seep through just a little bit. So I think it sort of gives it a little bit more of an aged feel to it. So I'm just giving that a quick coat all the way around, and as well as on the edges as well, where I've sort of, you know, the corrugates, I've torn off the corrugates there. So just taking the time to do that. And then all I'm going to do is just let that sit aside to dry. I'll give it a bit of a heat gun if I need to. Now I've got this cute little stencil. I love all the little stencils that come in these size for Kaisercraft, and they're really cool because they have a lot of different patterns. So I'm just using this beautiful floral one here, and I'm just using some modelling paste to add that texture into the background of my scrapbooking page. So as you can see, I'm just adding that around. Now it is a little bit hard to see on the white cardstock, but you will sort of see it as I add some stamping over the top a little bit later, and also in the photos you'll see that nice up and close. So as you can see, I've gone around where basically where it'll be seen. So I just kept using that piece of corrugate as a guide to work out the placement. Now here I just wanted to do a bit of stamping with this beautiful brick texture stamp by Kaisercraft, and I'm also using some of the acrylic paint in the sage colour, and I'm just stamping that paint onto the background. I think that it gives it a really nice sort of soft feel, stamping with paint, and I really do love to do it a little bit. And again, I'm just using that corrugate piece to give myself a bit of a guide as to where I'm doing it. Now I wanted to bring some of the background into my foreground of this corrugated piece. So what I'm doing is I'm just using a baby wipe and just sponging some of that colour around the edges, and also just randomly over the top of it as well, but mainly around the edges. And you can sort of see it just becomes a little bit more one with the page. Now I'm going to delve into these beautiful pattern papers. I really love the designs and the colours that are included in this, and you can sort of see I'm just using that corrugated piece again to use that as a bit of a guide as to where I'm tearing it, so that I can sort of see the different elements peeping through basically. So I really love layering the different papers in this sort of a way. It really does give a really soft feel to the page, and the different pattern papers, just having those different colours in the collection really are beautiful. This beautiful Lilac Whisper collection is just divine. I really love purple, and it was a colour that was featured in my wedding, this actual sort of tones of the purple, so I really do love it, and just using some of the collection papers there. Now one thing awesome about Kaiser is these collection packs, the collectibles. I really love them because they can really add some beautiful elements to your page in a quick and easy way, and just really sort of fun elements that you don't have to sit there and fussy cut for half an hour for. It's basically all done for you. So I've delved into the collection pack, and I'm just adding some different elements out of that pack, as well as some of the Kaisercraft paper blooms there as well in the mini, and as well as the larger size. And you can sort of see the page starts to come together very quickly with the help of these collectibles. You can see the different elements just balance each other, and I'm able to play around with the colours in there as well to just get a really good feel for the page and add the different elements on there. I think the butterflies are really, really sweet in this collection. I love how there is a bit of there is a few butterflies in there, because I think it really does go really sweet with the collection. And also too, I love that the collection really does span across the ages. Now here I'm just using some of the Lucky Dip wood flourish packs. I've just taken those little sort of floral pieces, floral viney sort of pieces out of there. Sort of look like leaves, maybe a little bit of a flower, I'm not really sure, but I've just given that a coat of gesso because I was actually trying to omit that brown sort of tone out of my page. So you can sort of see I've coated a lot of things with gesso. So I've done the same with these, given them a good coat with gesso, as well as adding layers while I was drying it off with the heat gun, and then adding some of the purple acrylic paint onto there as well. And I'll detail all of the different colours that I've used in the page, so that you can see those at the bottom. But the acrylic paint that I've used there is that mauve colour, and I really do like that. So now really just a quick way to start adhering it. So I'm just lifting my layers and adding a bit of glue underneath, and also using just pieces of cardboard to add a little bit of dimension. So I'm able to sort of cut that to different sizes and add those behind the little elements. So and just continuing to layer and adhere as I go. Do get myself into a little bit of a glue mess at one stage, but hey, you know, that's a good thing about liquid glue. You can sort of lift it up and move it around and that sort of stuff, as long as you work sort of fairly quickly. On the corrugate, you do want to add a fair bit of glue. So I've actually, you'll see I'm very generous with the glue. That's just because some of it seeps obviously into the corrugates. So trying to get as much of it to sit on top of the corrugates as I can, just so my page adheres together really, really well. And I'm just using a good craft glue to adhere all of that. Basically, good all-purpose glue will work fine with any of these sort of paper and wood elements. So just with the butterflies, I've actually just adhered those in the centre of the butterfly so that I can lift the wings up and keep the dimension there. Also the flowers, just again, I'm here just being quite generous with the glue and just holding it for a moment. They are paper, so this is a good paper glue, so I'm having no trouble with adhering all of that down. As long as I sort of give it a minute and just hold it for a second there, they do seem to adhere in there quite well. And just little bits that I haven't sort of adhered well enough. And you can see that beautiful word. I've actually just added a little strip of cardboard. The reason for that is I just wanted to give a little bit more strength, especially being the title. So now it sits on there really, really well. And just adhering some little pieces that weren't quite adhered down well enough onto the page. Now our page is nearly there. I really love how it's come together. Really love the different layers in there and the different elements and the really sweet photo that I've used. Really love that it sort of spans the time, this photo. Now just to finish it off, I just wanted to use some of the Kaiser mists to add a little bit of finishing colour into the background. So I'm just using the three different colours in the Kaiser mist. So I'm using the blackberry, I'm using the, I think it's wisteria, and also the white colour as well. So just a few different colours and adding those as a little bit of splatter into the background. As you can see, I've just masked off different areas that I didn't want too much splatter on there, so that way it will not get coated with the colour. Now here I'm just getting a little bit more specific as to where I want the colour now, so adding a little bit more of that wisteria colour into there as well, and a little bit more of the white. I could be quite generous with the white. It was never going to overpower it too much anyway. Now some of the purple did sort of seem to seep into the corrugates. When I went to wipe it off, I really loved the effect that it gave, and so I decided to add a little bit more in there. actually ended up using the blackberry colour there a little bit as well. So I really love how it added some beautiful colour into that. Just gave it a little bit more of an aged feel, a bit more shabby chic as well onto the page, and really I think just finished it off. So sometimes, you know, a happy accident works well, you know, in the page. So I really love how that works. And there's my finished page. I hope you enjoyed watching it come together. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.